Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. So here we are for race number 2 of the season, number 6. We are heading to the Australian Grand Prix. Joining me today in the comms box is, as usual, Sartak. How are you?
Been alright, been brilliant lately, Davin. Actually, I'm pumped for this. Rather less populated grid, not something you see every day here in the Bwoah Racing League. We've not seen a race with about 10 drivers or less than 10 drivers ever since season 3. So we're going backwards in some cases, but hopefully we'll move forwards in the races to come. It's Albert Park today. What do you think? Give me the rundown. How do you feel about the track?
Just having a practice run with one of the drivers sickening earlier. So I
Of
must
course,
say,
of course. It's
indeed,
sickening
indeed,
all the time.
we go back to season 5, where both of us drove the Mercedes in our respective leagues. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's a bit of a bond there among us. And yeah, I must say this track, it is laser scan, fun fact, in these games. So it is quite accurate compared to real life. And that is providing a bit of a challenge in terms of driving because the curbs, for once, as always, they can launch you to Narnia. And the other thing is,
Of course.
with this high speed layout that has this revamped layout, right? It's very high speed. So one mistake and you are going to be greeted by the walls. So it's going to be interesting to see if drivers are really going to go for that low downforce setup over here to be, be quick on the straights, just park it on the corners. Or are they going to go for something more conservative to make sure they are comfortable with the car? uh, Quali as well. I think as Derb mentions in the chat, quali is going to be practice. I'm pretty sure some drivers have come in with enough practice, and they'll be off to a flying start. What do you think?
Grid, it's gonna open up opportunities for those who aren't really okay with traffic out on track. Um, Definitely, we're gonna see some left field results today because you don't have the heavy hitters in the likes of KDB, Big Man Joe UK out on track, but we do have Envy. We do have Andre who had one of the most brilliant showings in Bwoah Racing League last race, but ended in vain. And yeah, hopefully Horning doesn't have any kind of issue with his wheel today, and we're gonna see an interesting race between 9 drivers here today.
Indeed. And Horning has his teammate Derb as well. And that is going to be interesting to see if the Ferraris are up to something with slipstreaming and whatnot down the straights. Maybe one of the back straights. But yeah, it's nice to see, this number of drivers coming in. As you said, Satek, perhaps towards the end of the year, once the game goes on another round of sales, we will definitely see another influx of drivers. But in the meantime, this gives a good amount of experience to our existing drivers here to get ahead of the competition, ahead of the second half of the season or even the following seasons.
Surely. But yeah, every race counts and every position awards you points. So the ones who aren't showing up, they're taking the L. As we see a couple of the drivers out on track already, Sicknig and ADHD Gamer on the outlaps.
Indeed, yes. And short qualifying usually provides us 3 to 4 laps of running. And with this number of grid, I think they're not going to be struggling with traffic at all, doesn't it? But yeah, first run as always set a good banker on the laps, on the board, and then second and third runs is really where you see the best laps come together. And and there we go. As we speak about outlaps, Andre going in turn one with those cold tires spins into turn one. And I think Satik, we are gonna see a bit more of those in the race and qualifying into turn one, a bit more spins and
Yeah,
cold tires out of the pits.
surely. It's been kind of a trend in Bwoah Racing League, hasn't it? I remember going back to season 3 Singapore, season 4 Singapore even. We did get to see a bunch of these drivers come out of the pits. Probably not in the best of ways, but I think we're going to see a bit of early team play. Dalvin, we have both Alpha Tauris out on track on the main straight. It's not in full effect yet, but I think they might just have something up their sleeve.
Indeed, and there you go. I don't think that's like you said, some DRS slipstreaming thingy, but
Yeah.
it's good to see both of them out together on the track and with a decent gap. So in case one of them runs wide, the other can still continue on the lap without interrupting. And yeah, into the end of sector one, Dishi says the 27.3. I think he's starting to get a bit comfortable with the track limits here. looks like he's not pushing just yet. That's always advisable to not push that hard on your first lap here. Yeah, into the end of sector 2, turn 9 and turn 10 coming up, Sartek. This is where we might see some more action in the race, some more spins. Luckily for Dishi here, no spins just yet, because you come into turn 9 and 10 this year with even higher speed than last year. So, and this is the revamped sector 3, a bit tighter entry into turn 10, and then the rest of the circuit, it's pretty much the same. Last corner here again, folks, has been revamped. It's much wider on the entry, and there you go, turn 14, the final corner. Then you go, a little bit of a squiggle down the exit. Signic sets 18.6 to set a lap on the board. Dishi there 19.4, still a bit more to go. And RB Farrello, well, nice to see him being the first one out on track compared to being the last one on track. I have forgotten to see the lap times, but there you go. It's a 21.2. I think it's just a slow banker there.
Yeah, you talked about how the first lap out on track you don't want to be pushing, but clearly Signig went, didn't take your advice for the first time ever actually, and ended up sending the fastest lap time out on track a bit early, of course. We got a good amount of time left into this short qualifying session, just under 14 minutes left. We haven't seen the likes of Derp as well as Horning out on track just yet, and as I say that, Gouts splits the top two, and Linus Donovan, who's Derp, picks off provisional pole early into the session, with Andre to follow.
Indeed, and what a lap indeed. And just a moment ago, Derp was asking Dalvin, send setup. I don't think he needs a setup. He just needs to get out on track, get that car hustling, and there you go, P1 immediately. 2 runs left probably, and a few more drivers out on track to set their lap times. Horning has lost his wing already, so I hope this is not shades of Carlos Sainz like in real life, but hopefully he has a good qualifying here. Into the pits he will go, and we are on track across the last corner. He has invalidated his first run, but let's just see what this would have been across the line. It looks like it's gonna be 17.9, just 200s behind Derp's time, and that would have been a really good banker lap there.
Yeah, but I'm assuming he invalidated it at some point on track. So he's out for another fast lap, but doesn't seem like it though. I think he's taking it relatively slow at this time around. I could be wrong. Horning in the pits, Mr. Wex out on track as well. And was that Envy with the purple sector or Wex on the purple sector when I switched?
It might have been Wex, I think.
Yeah, okay. Purple sector 1 for Wex.
Indeed, and let's hope the Delta is not lying, but into sector 2, what does he do here? It's a 45-0. He invalidates on the entry on the left-handed turn 9 there, and there you go. A lap has been thrown out of the window there.
Straight out, and that's Envy, right? On our screens, we just passed Mr. Wex and has invalidated a lap of his own. Yeah, so he's headed into the pits, surely.
Looks like he is. And
wow. Okay,
what a catch. What a catch.
Yeah.
Indeed. And yes, so a few more drivers now coming out on track. Signic there. Like I said, he didn't take my advice, but I think there's a very good reason. He definitely practiced for this. And his first run here, from what I remember, is faster than what we achieved in practice. So hats off to him for putting in the work in practice, and the fruits are paying off. The efforts are paying off, and he is out on the second lap. Dishi as well, the other AlphaTauri, out on track, just half a sector behind at turn 5 now, going through the long back straight that leads into turn 9 here. He's going to be on his lap very, very soon. Or is he starting his lap? I might be wrong. Oh no, that's RB Farrello who's on a invalidated lap. But yeah, let's see how Signic does on his second lap here.
Yeah, he's exiting Sector 3 as we speak. This is the man third fastest out on track. He's been on pole once before. He's been part of a 1-2 as well. Who knows, maybe he can repeat that out on track in Australia today. Is his teammate out? Okay, no, not a 1-2, but definitely a possible pole on the cards. He's got 10.5 minutes left to set the quickest lap time out there. He wasn't too pleased to be in this kind of car this season. For some reason, everyone's away from the back markers, even though it's equal performance, wants to stay away from them. But But yeah, Sicknick, as he goes to sector 1, looking real speedy. And
Wow.
he's going to have traffic, AlphaTauri, or probably not.
No,
Stays clear of
just fine,
Sicknick.
indeed. And a 10th and a half up there, and looks like there was a pretty good exit as well in sector 2. And let's see what he can improve by the end of this sector. It's 2/10 improvement, Sartek. So I think that's definitely a shot for Paul if he can nail sector 3 over here. He has to find half a 10 though to make sure he gets on the front row at least. Now sector 3, which is, you know, the revamped sector, can he make it through? 2 more corners. Tires might be screaming for grip right now with all the heat that's going through the tires. Second last corner before you end the lap, and now this is where it gets tricky and trickier. On the exit, keeps it within limits, not running too wide off, and across the line. What is this gonna be? 18.1. Sicknick goes P2 for now. Wow.
And in the backdrop, I saw Abi Ferrello at the exit of the last corner spinning out and taking himself out of the session.
Oh no. Oh, there you go. I think he might have lost it on the exit there. Went over the curb a little too aggressively, but P6 for him for now. I think he might be down to P9 by the end of session if everyone keeps improving. But yeah, a few more laps coming in. Let's see who's on a lap now. Andre's on a lap.
An unfortunate end for Abi Ferrello, but hopefully his teammate can make up for it. Dishy,
yes, who's still in the pits waiting to come out. Andre has invalidated his lap. Derp goes even faster now. 17.4. Okay, and he's really putting in the times right now. I don't think he needs a setup. He is quick out on track. 17.4 puts him provisional pole position, and his teammate now Honing has set a banker lap, which is putting him P7 for now.
Yep, Derp clearly trying to make it very clear that he might have missed race number 1, but he's still in contention for the Drivers' Championship this season in the Bwoah Racing League. We did see the best, probably the best we've seen out of Andre in race 1. General Pepe ended up making that his statement by finishing that race with a win, but he's not out on track today. Envy as well on the podium, but can he get into the top 3 this time around? And as I say that, he goes 4th fastest.
Yeah, but not a bad banker though. Still 8/10 off the pace of Derp, who was somewhat his rival towards the end of season 5. So there's quite a way for Envy to go, but one more run, I think he might just put it on the front row, which would be a good shot at winning the race. Let's see. Hey Prophecy, welcome. Long time no see. How are you doing? And yes, 17.2. Nero says in the chat, someone got to make a 17.2. I think Derp might just hit that 17.2 there. Let's see, one more run to go. Can he find 2.5 tenths? What do you think, Sarthak?
Yeah, surely. I think he can do anything at this point. I think he's been competing at a much higher level compared to the rest of the drivers out on track today, at least. And in comparison, he's poised to pick off that Drivers' Championship already, but a bit too early. Early to say, considering it is the Bwoah Racing League and you can expect left field results. So yeah, definitely it does seem like Derp is sorted for that pole position today, unless we haven't seen the best of Andre and Envy just yet.
Indeed, yeah, and with half a session to go, 6 minutes left to go actually.
Yeah,
that's less than half to go. So I think at most drivers will have one shot remaining. If they can time it well, they might have a second run, but it's all coming down to this. 6 minutes to go. Let's see which driver now decides to have a shot at this. Mr. Wax now into the end of the lap here. Can he go faster than his well, you know, I should shut my mouth because he's just spun out on track on 2 corners to go and almost collects Sicknick there, who was on his fast lap as well.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
no, he's invalidated
it. So well, little repercussions there, but that was a close call by Mr. Vex. Oh no, Mr. Vex, no, crashed into the pit lane entry. Oh my lord, why does this happen?
we can spot it on board Dishipa. Oh my god, that yeah, I've seen that before. Singapore Bwoah Racing League season 4 or 3, I'm not sure. UK had a similar situation, and yeah, things couldn't have ended worse for Mr. Wex. But yeah, these are the races they need to capitalize on, and the exact opposite is happening to some of the drivers out on track. But we still got 8 drivers set to set a lap time out on track.
Yep, and the first one to start his lap will be dubbed in about 3 corners time. So currently holding the provisional pole position with a 17.4, half a second, 6 tenths or even 7 tenths almost clear of the next two of Signic and Andre there. Dub there, rounding the last corner to start his lap in that magnificent Ferrari with yellow shades. And let's see, right on board with him into turn 1. It's a pretty dangerous corner, I will say, but takes it well. Turn 2, and then running down into turn 3, which will end the first two DRS straights.
Oh, clean. I mean, riding on board Derp is got to be like a YouTube video at this point. And as I said that over the curbs, he got a little bit too edgy in Sector 1. And as he heads into Sector 2, he goes into Sector 2. It's a loss of time rather than a gain.
Indeed, almost 2 tenths down there, but if he gets a good exit here, he might just improve on his lap. What is it going to be into turn 9? Let's see if it's even worth going for this lap. It's still down. It's a purple, but it's still down a tenth and a half on his lap, and he invalidates on the exit of turn 10 there. So this will be a cool down. He still has enough time to go back to the pits and fit on a fresh set of tire. But yeah, let's see. Another driver out on track, this time Signic, who is still on the front row. And close behind him is Kubarabi. Is this a slipstream attempt for the Haasers? Or they just trying something silly here? I wonder.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say in that Sector 2 for Derp that he was making up for that loss in Sector 1, but then he goes and validates the lap. But he still got one more lap of running left, and I see a Mercedes coming out on track, and that will be Andre. The color tags for the Mercedes and Haas are so similar, it's so confusing.
Yeah, so yeah, both the Haasers have gone into the pits, so I'm guessing they were trying on some slipstreaming, or they just happened to be out on track at the same time. Meanwhile, on the other, someone else who's starting a lap, it is Honing down in P8, yet to get a representative time on board. Smashed his wing on his first attempt, got a second lap in by the slow one, and this would be his, I'm assuming, final attempt here. And into Sector 1, oof, running wide a bit there again where Dev did. And into Sector 1, what can he do? It sets a 28.0, so it's half a second improvement on his time. He needs to find at least 2 more seconds to be even on the third row of the grid. But let's see, into Sector 2. It comes up very fast these days, isn't it, this Sector 2? I remember back in the previous games, it takes, a few more corners to even reach the end of this corner. 7 tenths up, Honing goes. And Sector 3 awaits him. That's very wide there, but not invalidated. Just said Honing is definitely pushing very hard to get his lap time through. Ahead of him is a Mercedes who is going to start his lap, but it will not get in his way. 3 more corners to go.
Yeah, over in Sector 3 was just...
Oof.
Okay, not
Whenever
something.
I say that, something just seems to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
He
at
lost
least,
an end plate.
yeah. Well, at least maybe we
Sector
can
3.
watch Andre then,
Yeah, and the last running is down in the dumps for Horning. Unfortunate for him, race 2 hasn't started the best of ways in qualifying. But right now, all eyes on Andre, who's got himself set for a banger lap, hopefully. And 2 of his rivals who got the positions up in front of him. With the wiped, it just passes a wiped out Alpha Tauri, or perhaps something else.
Indeed, that was an Alpha Tauri, and that was Envy, if I'm not wrong. That's the only that's Aston Martin, indeed. So
it's a Martin, my bad.
He is, yeah. Envy is out of the session, so that's at best a P4 only for him. He will be starting no higher than that.
All right, so these are the last running from some of these drivers, and as I say that, Andre sets the purple Sector 1 at the exit of Sector 1 into Sector 2, in fact. Derp and Signig are on fast laps of their own. So this is the moment, Davin. We're going to find out who's going to be on pole for this brilliant Australian GP race of the Bwoah Racing League Season 6. And all eyes on Andre as he comes around the penultimate corner. And now the final one keeps it clean. No, he heads into the pits. What?
No, I'm guessing that's not an improvement on his lap then. So into the pits he will go. But we still have our eyes on Kuber Abi, who is about to start his lap. Will he be able to start his lap though? With that amount of time remaining, I think he just made it through. Just about. There you go. He made it
I
through the
was
cutoff.
I was on board Sicknick, and I think he just panicked after sector one. He was a tenth, almost a tenth and a half up, and he almost got he thought he was going to get wiped out by Horning's Ferrari, who's crashed out in sector one. But yeah, let's look at Derp, who's on a fast lap as well at sector three. So both drivers close to each other, but I think Derp's the
Just
one who's got
invalidated
its
his lap
field.
Sartak, so that's the end for him. Sickening
Okay.
as well as invalidated, so I think that's our grid set for 1, 2, and 3. And it seems like no one else is out on track except for Kubarabi, now who's
What are the
heading
odds?
into the end of sector 2. He sets a 44.8. That should put him in the realms of the first 3 rows. Let's see how can he do into the last sector here.
Can Cuba Ravi pull off the impossible? He's not set a lap time ever so far in the last 17 minutes. He's come out on track. He's had connection issues. Can he be in the top 2 rows for this race? In the very first fast lap he's set today. As he rounds around the final corner, I don't think, or perhaps just
It's going to be
misses
very
out.
close across the. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a P5. What a brilliant
Just-
attempt there.
Just
Brilliant,
misses out.
brilliant.
Fifth fastest. So that ends our qualifying session with Derp on pole position, with Sicknig on the front row alongside him, Andre in the second row, with Envy having crashed out right before his last run. Kubarabi, the late runner, single lap time on the board, and that was good enough for fifth.
Indeed,
Right
and,
in the middle of this field.
Yeah, if you look at the spread there from P2 to P6, 3 tenths. That's all, you know. So one corner and you may have gotten P2. If you lose that one corner, you're down in P6. So it sets up for a pretty good race, I hope. And well, only 10 drivers, so that should be a little bit less hectic on the starts. As we all know, in the Bwoah Racing League, turn ones are always a spot for some action in lap 1.
Yeah, I'm expecting a bit more fights between Derp and Andre in this race rather than Sicknick, who is in the mix. I know he's in the mix, but I haven't been talking about him too much. But that's only because I think he's going to be caught off guard at the start of the race. Maybe he proves me wrong, who knows? But right now, I really feel it's going to be a fight between Andre and Derp this race.
Yeah, let's hope so, because Andre is not in a good starting position to challenge for P1 immediately, so he will have to put in some work. But P3, it's not a bad place to start if he gets the jump on Sicknick, and even Derp if Derp gets a bad start, so it might set up for an interesting lap 1. So we're just waiting for, let's see the race director. Oh, there you go. So we're just waiting for the tire selection from these drivers. Looks like only Andre is on the hards for now. Everyone else is on the mediums. Once again, the strategy battle started. This is what we love to see, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And even though I don't have that on my screen, soon enough we'll be able to pull up the tires. Who's going left field? Davin, who do you think's going in a bit rather unconventional strategy?
Well, I don't know what. If you see the softs, I would say that is unconventional in this game. But everyone else seems to be, on the conventional line of either starting on the mediums or the hards. What's gonna make the difference is those who are starting on the hards, they're definitely thinking a bit longer into the race to get better overall race pace and race time, whereas the medium runners will be looking to make up some positions at the start. So I think that's definitely playing into some of the tire selections, such as NV, Kubarabi, Sicknick, all on the mediums. Kubarabi, as we say, switches onto the hard tires here. So split strategies coming in from the hard drivers to make the best out of it. And speak about unconventional, Sartek NV has chosen to start on the softs.
There we go. So we know who's going to be real quick right into corner number 1, but he's got 3 drivers to fend off to make the pass on into turn 1. That'll be a gigantic task for him, and 3 very capable drivers for Envy to pass But yeah, we've got the formation lap, the lap I thoroughly enjoy watching. And yeah, we got a Ferrari on pole position. Would you look at that, damn? That's a treat for our eyes, considering we are Ferrari fans.
Oh, let's hope it ends in the same way. Ferrari with the win, or at least a Ferrari powered car on the win. Otherwise, it's looking like, like in real life, things don't go well for Ferrari. Yeah, but formation laps are your favorite lap, like you said. So take us through what these drivers might be thinking at this point of time.
I think Envy thinks lap 1 is his for the taking, and he's gonna try and pull off a gap. We've seen him do it before in season 5, and I think doing it this time around is gonna be quite a task, considering Dub's possibly not as easy to pass as he was last season. And I think Andre's probably not going to be a problem for him at all. We got Kuberabi who's really going to steer clear of trouble in the midfield. Gaut's going to follow suit of Kuberabi, old teammates, so they think a bit same, I'd say. I don't know how Dishy and Abi Ferrello are going to react at the start. Teammates lining up alongside each other, in fact. Horning and Mr. Wex, I feel Mr. Wex is going to be a bit too aggressive at the start. He's on hard tires, so you'd expect him to be, because he wants to get in a bit of heat into that tires early on and get a pass or two going into turn 1, capitalize at the start, because he's probably going to be on those tires for the first half of the race for a pretty long time, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think at the start it's going to be a frenzy up in front if either one of the front two row cars are going to lose it going into turn 1. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be utter chaos as we'd see if it was a 15 car or a 20 car grid.
Indeed, and disqualification coming in for Signic for not parking up correctly into the line, and his teammate does the same. Oh, this is a new thing as well in this game, and there you go, even more drivers getting wrong into their parking into the grid. But yeah, 5 lights are coming out. Sartek, take it away.
Yeah, 5 lights are out. It's race number 2 of the Bwoah Racing League Season 6, and right off the bat, Dub gets a decent enough start, but a lofty one as Signic lines up alongside him. But there comes Envy, soft tires working its magic, and up into the lead already. That's a spinning AlphaTauri in the back, but Envy got his way, and he's putting up 2/10 of a gap already.
Yeah, what a start. The soft tire. Oh, that's a contact between Dub and Signic, who runs into the back of Signic into turn 3, and that brings out a full yellow. Is that a full safety car in lap 1 itself? It looks like it might just be. Or is that a VSC? Signic has lost his front wing, so that's gonna be a pit coming in for him immediately. Throws his strategy out of the window.
I almost thought he lost one of his front tires, to be honest. I can't believe it started like that. But anyway, the race goes on by the looks of it. Oh no, sector 1, 2, and 3 are yellow. Is it a virtual safety car? Give us something, game.
It looks like a virtual safety car, Sadek. There's no safety car dot appearing on the mini-map. So this is not going to be as favoring as a full safety car, but nevertheless, it gives you an opportunity to dive into the pits and make some quick wing and tire changes. So Signic will definitely appreciate that. Yes, it is a VSC, as we can see on the boards on the road there, so it's gonna last a while. Dishy, who had a bad start spotted earlier, might have just been saved by this VSC, and he gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, so just compounds his issues. VSC is done, and there you go. NB, who was leading into turn 1, extends his lead even more. Dishy picks up another 5-second penalty heading into the pits. Oh wow, that's not a way to serve a penalty and pick up another. RB Ferrello is off. What's happened there?
Yep, no front right, front left, and wing. The complete front of his car is absolutely destroyed, wrecked, and it's the end of the race. And I wonder if that was a collision with Mr. Wex, because he's lost an end plate as well. Actually, an incident involving Mr. Wex, possibly, or maybe an erratically driving Signic. Who knows? Maybe we can get a bit of insight later on. But right now, the driver in the worst position possible, Signic, clearly. Why still out on track? Who knows?
With no
front wing.
Yeah, so I think he has forgotten to fix his front wing. But oh no, there's another crash on track. Horning and Mr. Wex working side by side. That's another front wing, like you said. Yes, he will go into the pit. So I think, a safety car is definitely something a lot of the drivers would want right now, but it just won't appear at this point. Envy, Aaron, still up ahead, extends his lead to almost 3 seconds now, pulling away from Derb, who is on those hard tires, if I'm correct. Indeed, so Derb is on the hard tires, so Envy now, all he has to do is pull out that gap, wish for a safety car, go onto the hards till the end.
Surprised how Andre hasn't closed that gap. I expected him. He was within 3/10 at the start of this lap, start of last lap, and now he finds himself about half a second, over half a second to Dub. So you can see Dub's skill really coming into form this season, and clearly he's trying his best to fend off Andre because he knows if he's positioned himself well enough, he should be ahead of Envy after Envy has a mishap or two in the race to come. Not saying it will, but just saying there's a possibility.
Yeah, and with the likelihood of Andre and Derb starting to battle as soon as DRS gets enabled, which is this lap, and into turn 9 and 10, on the exit of turn 10, DRS will be available for Andre. Will he go for a move immediately, try to pull off a lead, or he's just gonna stay behind Derb for Leopard to recharge his battery and go along the flow? Because they know Envy has to go pretty long on another set of tires, so they are in the advantage right now. Let's see. Andre does not go for a move just yet. Gap still about 3.5 seconds to Envy up in front.
I really want to jump. I wanted to jump to the back of the pack for a battle, but it's already been done. Vex has taken that position off of Horning, who's had a not so great outing in race 2 already. But then again, with just 4 laps up, it's anyone's call how this is going to end. Because like I started, it clearly ended up being the exact opposite. Chaos at the start with a 10 car grid, just as much as one with a 20 car grid.
Indeed. And we might just have a battle immediately out on track. Signic, who is out on medium tires after that pit stop, is trailing Horning by only half a second. DRS has been enabled, so he might go on the offense right now. Andre, in the meantime, he looks very close to Derb this time around. Will this be an overtake coming out of turn 10? Let's ride on board with them for this battle.
The way Andre took those corners through Sector 1, my god, so smooth. It's what you love watching in sim racing, And you can see Derb fumble just a bit, and Andre's capitalizing on that, closing up the gap. Now he's down into 3/10. He's got DRS, so that plays in his favor. And into Sector 3, they go, these two, being just about 3/10 the gap.
Yeah, let's go back to turn 2. Those Arctic this time. Signing so much closer to Horning. Tries to overtake, but no, he doesn't get the exit out of turn 2. Still a bit difficult to follow in the 30 yet, despite the new regulations here. Envy has already jumped into the pits, getting rid of those soft tires, proving to be very quick in the first 2 or 3 laps, but no longer giving him the grip that he needs to go any longer. So he'll be into the pits now. He'll go very long with the strategy. Out on track though, there's still some battles. Andre and Derb now are very close into turn 2, but not close enough. Back to Signing and Horning. Oh, looks like Horning has run a little bit wide on the exit of turn 6 and 7, and that gives Signic the position. Up into P8 he goes.
Yeah, both Ferraris out on track were threatened for position, and one has been picked off, and the other holds firm the lead of the race now for the first time this season. Derb leads this race in Bwoah Racing League. Now, Gouts finds himself running in a podium position, but he has an Envy to fend off. 3-second time penalty for Kubarabi for multiple points, probably for track limits, who's now running P6 on softs alongside his old, I don't think they were ever teammates, but yeah, Mr. Wex on softs, 2-lap old softs as well. What do you think about that strategy, Dalvin? 2-lap softs on lap number 5. Mind you, Envy pitted for hards after 3 laps on the softs.
Yeah, interesting because, you wouldn't really go for 2 stops in a 50% race. And starting on the soft definitely gave him the advantage of having track position early on. And now he's onto the hards. 4 laps fresher than everyone ahead of him. So if he can put in the laps, he can still catch up to the pack and go on another set of mediums towards the end and perhaps make some work with it. So if these two up in front here, Derb and Andre start battling, this will just invite Gouts and Envy into the fray very, very soon.
Yeah, just might. But Andre's kept it rather clean so far. And that 3 tenths gap is coming down to 2 tenths now. So he's taking it corner by corner, lap by lap, and keeping it clean. And now slowly going to start putting in some pressure onto Dub, because Dub's got to be looking at his rear views and thinking, okay, now he's coming. Now he's definitely coming.
Indeed, I feel at this point of time, Andre feels he is the faster driver, so if he can get ahead and pull away might be an advantage. But Dub is still holding out strong, saving his battery for the moment when he's about to get overtaken. But no, he still holds strong. Yeah, Andre is not close enough coming out of turn 10 to even make an attempt.
Somehow, every time it seems like Dub manages to hold that position so confidently that Andre doesn't even attempt to weave to the right and attempt to move on him. Look at him. Look at how he's just parking the car in the corners, Dub.
Indeed, yeah, so this might be costing Dub some time, but at the same time, Andre, who looks super confident coming out of turn 1, can he get the exit that he needs? He looks much closer than before than previous laps. Come on, Andre, send it into turn 2. Still, he's a little too far off the straight. Is not long enough. Next time around in turn 9 and 10, that's where he will get his second chance. It's gonna come up very soon.
To make the move there on the main stage, it did seem like he could, but he didn't really put in an effort. But then again, I think he knows Dub better than we do. These two practice together. They spend a lot of time together in practice lobbies and whatnot. So yeah, I think we're seeing Andre just playing the long game and trying to wait for that right moment.
Oh, that's a slide from Dub into turn 9 and 10, and that's the opportunity that Andre needed to go up and take the position. P1 is belonging to Andre right now. A mistake from Dub, and that is a costly one, Sarthak. Wow.
And I had just ended that sentence.
Oh,
Can't
wow.
make that up.
Indeed.
Cannot make that up. Andre leads this race.
Indeed. Andre now finally leads the race, and there's a car coming out of the pit lane. Will this hinder him though? I wonder. But no, looks like Mr. Wax here is gonna get lapped 8 laps into the race, and he's just going backwards, isn't he? Oh, Dub! Oh, that was an overtake on Wax. For a moment, I thought that he re-overtook Andre, but now it's gonna be important to see if Andre has the pace to pull away from Dub and set his own lap time, set his own pace.
And yeah, Andre just needs to keep it this way and ensure that there are no fumbles like he did in Portimao. We saw that happen. We thought it was a done deal for Andre. He's set for a race win. But I think this time around he's got to be much more cautious, and I don't think we'll be jumping the gun in any way either, because it's just lap number 8. We've barely reached the half point of this race.
Yeah, and yeah, it's only 8 laps, yes, Sarthak. So I think that's about 75% left to go in this race. Looking at the performance of Dub on the straights, Sarthak, I think Dub is definitely the faster car on the straights, which is why he has managed to keep in front for so many laps. And now in the corners, though, he is losing a bit of a gap to Andre, like in sector 1, sector 2. But when it comes to sector 2 and towards the end of sector 3, he's gaining back the time. And with DRS, he's just going to be able to keep up for as long as he wants.
Yeah, but both drivers have the ERS they need. At least Andre, for now, he does. I don't think he deployed as much as Dub did on the main straight, as you'd expect. He is the lead car. But that gap over half a second, and if Andre can keep it that way until there's any kind of incident out on track once again, bring out yellows or possibly a safety car, I think is pretty good for now in terms of track position.
Yeah, and while these two are sorting themselves out up in front, quietly Gouts and Envy looks like they're just setting their own pace as well. Back in P3 and 4, Envy seems to be slowly catching up to Gouts to take back that P3, and with strategy out of his window, out of his question, I guess, he might just have to pump in the laps to get back in some favorable position. But yeah, lap number 9, back onto the back straight. Dub still keeping within DRS range of Andre and following him around out on track.
Yeah, and this is the moment, folks, as with every Australian GP in Bwoah Racing League, things actually settle down quite a bit. Huge gaps between drivers on coming into lap number 10. throughout the grid, apart from the top 2 runners. But that's closing in on a second as well.
Yeah, and let's quickly bring up the tire window as well. Everyone is on the hards apart from Kubarabi, who's trying on the mediums after that
Nope.
unfortunate incident.
Softs, actually. Kuberabi on softs, Sicknick on mediums.
Yeah, so something different from the hards drivers. So they will have to go back on the hards, I'm guessing, towards the end of the race to make up the remaining of the lap time that they need. But yeah, still long way to go. Only 10 laps have been done, so we're only about a third into this, and there's still a lot of things that can happen.
Surely, yeah. We've had one retirement in this race, and Kuberabi heads into the pits after 6 laps on the softs. 3 laps more than Envy did, and definitely more than Vex did as well. Mr. Vex had pitted earlier from softs to hards, and those are the hards coming on for Kuberabi.
Indeed, and yeah, he could go till the end now, providing nothing else stops the race. So he is set. But yeah, Dub once again looks like he was trying to sell a dummy down the inside, but Andre didn't have any of that. Kept his composure into sector 3, and they're coming up to more lap cars, and this time it is Honing who is going to be lapped. So I wonder if that's going to come into some team play to help Dub retake the lead.
I wonder. That's Andre in the backdrop of
And that's a
Honing.
yellow, Sarthak. I'm seeing there's a yellow,
Okay,
and there is
sector 1.
Kubarabi just ahead in turn 4 and 5 here. Yeah, hard tires,
okay.
cold hard tires out on track. We called this much earlier. It was going to happen soon.
The back markers are now getting in the way of the front of the grid, but not really. Well, not really, considering there is ghosting on in the lobby. But yeah, that gap, he's kept it within a second, so a pat on the back for Dub. Definitely he's losing time in the process as well, surprisingly enough. Andre holding on to that race lead, 11 laps up, and the only medium run out on track is your good friend Sicknick, Dalvin.
Indeed, and compromise.
Did you tell him that?
Say again.
Did you tell him to be on the mediums?
Oh well, I definitely did not, but I think he definitely read my mind to go onto the mediums and go back out on the hards later on. So
he can read your mind now. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens if we race long enough. And yeah, Signic there trying to make some comeback on the medium tires, showing some good pace. He's only less than a minute behind the leaders though. But yeah, up in front, like you said, Dub still within TRS range. He's starting to fall back a little bit now. I wonder if that low downforce setup is starting to compromise his tire life, because lap after lap it seems like Andre just is able to squeeze out that extra tenth or half a tenth to get away.
Yeah, I think that specifically happened at the exit of the last corner. He actually, lost it a bit, saved the car from weaving to the right. So yeah, he lost a tenth in that process, and now it's over the second gap. Andre got what he wanted, and it's only lap number 12.
Yeah, but now we head into sector 2 where it's all straights, and Dub deploying his battery. Andre deploying his battery as well to get out of the 1 second, but Dub has so much more straight line speed. He is within 8 tenths already, 5 tenths. He cut the gap in that straight alone. I wonder how much faster is he going to be on the straights.
I stand corrected. He's deploying battery once again. He's got DRS as well. So he's going to close into the 6 tenths range now. Perfectly done corner. And he's going to stay 6 to 7 tenths of Andre as they go through sector 3.
Yeah, and a double detection, single detection zone for the next 2 DRS zones over here. So Dub will be able to stick within DRS for pretty much the next 2 straights here. So look at the gap that he is cutting down. Yeah, but once again, we are reaching the point where it is within the realms of undercuts and overcuts. Even these hard tires, if they want to get rid of it now, they can go on the mediums till the end. I wonder if Dub would like to take the chance and go for the undercut in a lap or 2, considering he is almost losing touch. Andre Sartak picks up a 3-second penalty. That is costly, I guess.
Not while in the race lead, my friend. You don't want that while you're in the race lead. But it is one he picks up, and in the back of the pack, Honing goes off track completely, and Mr. X gets a position. He was actually waiting to get himself in his own right, but he's ghosted, so I'm questioning whether it's Mr. Wex at all. Okay, it's not. Yeah, okay, I mean, it is Wex. It's not Mr. Wex, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and while yeah, indeed. So Wax now also who had a compromised start now slowly making his way. He's still 23 seconds off the next car of Kubarabi, and up in front, Andre and Dub, they're just starting to sort out the race. No one wants to go for that undercut just yet. Envy has been reeling in.
Yeah, Horning seems to be having a rather really tough time, and his front wing's intact, his car looks fine, and he's just sliding all over the place.
I hope it's not that force feedback issue that he was complaining about last week, because it can be a horrible experience to drive without force feedback. I wonder if that's the same thing happening today. But yeah, I hope he really gets that sorted out. And yeah, I was saying just now, Satek, as we almost missed it, Envy has been reading in Gouts about half a second a lap. And the gap is down to 3.3 in lap 14. And with Gouts yet to make a stop, Envy is potentially hunting for a P3 here.
I wonder what's going through Gouts' mind. He's only in a podium position. He's rather good at keeping his composure and ensuring he holds on to a position till the end, but this is a different scenario altogether. He's got Envy who will be soon breathing down his neck for that position. You can see him, he's now within 2.5 seconds or so. He was just 3 seconds at the start of this lap. And that gap's going to keep coming down and down, as you said. And up in front, still again 6 tenths between the two, Derp and Andre. And now both are in a stride of their own of recharging their batteries, I presume.
Yeah, although I must say Andre is lower on battery, so he's gonna dip into the 10%, and that is gonna flash his rear light, which is a signal for Derp that an overtake might be coming very soon.
Just might. And as we stay on board the front two runners, Envy now within 2 seconds of Gouts, and it keeps on dropping that gap.
Yeah, and I think by the end of this lap, or even before we reach Sector 2, Envy might just close in on that. Derp is once again gonna be losing that DRS if he cannot keep it together. Andre is low on battery. Derp has slightly more battery to deploy and gets within DRS once again. It's an interesting battle here. This might go till the end. High downforce versus low downforce. It's all kicking off here as we reach the halfway stage of this race.
That gap now 1.5 seconds between Envy and Gouts. So half a tenth in half a lap?
Indeed.
Yeah, that's the rate. Yeah.
Indeed. So it might have even be a full second there by the time we arrive at the end of this sector here. So half a second to go. Can Envy push a little bit more? He gets DRS from the ghosted car of Mr. Wax. So that's definitely a helping hand, about 2 or 3 tenths to close up the gap to Gouts into sector 3. Can he get into DRS and launch an attack immediately, or will he go for an undercut attempt?
Find out. Rounds up the penultimate corner. Now the final one, almost a second's gap. He's not going to have that DRS on the main straight, but going into the next lap, he's all poised for an overtake possibly. And as I say that, Derp heads into the pits for a fresh set of mediums as Andre stays out in the lead of the race.
Yeah, so this is definitely an undercut attempt by Derp to get past Andre, but now Derp faces the trouble of facing Envy and Gauss right in front of him. So if he cannot clear this traffic right away, Andre is going to pull ahead. And Envy now is already within a second, so there's 3 drivers converging on each other, all on the aging tires here. So Envy tries to push. He is pushing his battery right now to get within a second. Gauss though, staying calm and not pushing too much with his battery.
Yeah, by the looks of the battery levels, it looks like Gouts can actually hold on to that position for longer than one might think. So Derp's the one who's going to get the short end of the stick at the end of this, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's 2 cars to get past, so which makes it even harder on this thing. But the saving grace is that this tires that you go on when you come out of the pits, it's gonna take a lap or 2 before they warm up. So well, Derp, he has a lap before he's actually gonna catch them up. Can he clear them by the time he gets ahead? And we now within DRS range of Gouts. onto the main straight. He will go, and will he make an overtake into turn 3? Derp behind gets DRS from lap car as well, so that will help him in his undercut attempt. Andre still stays out for another lap out in front, expecting something to happen behind.
Yeah, Gauss and Andre Gauss following on Andre's footsteps in some ways. Both used to be teammates as well. You remember how it was Gauss, Andre, Kuberabi? What a team that was. It almost seemed like it was 3 main drivers rather than any one of them being reserves.
Indeed, wonderful season 5 moments there. But now back in front, I think they are in different teams. No love lost though. I'm pretty sure they'll keep it clean when they go side by side, and we still doesn't want to push for the overtake just yet. He might be contemplating going till the end on these tires, which I doubt he can make it. But he just might. We don't know. There's the yellow up in front in sector 1, and that's a spinning Haas. That is not Kuberabi, that is Signic, who has lost his front wing coming out of turn 1. And that's
Second
a
time.
full yellow on the track. And that's a safety car as well coming out in turn 1. Guess who gets a free pit stop now?
Andre Gauss follows suit into the pits, Envy as well, and poor old Dup, who had just pitted a lap ago, 2 laps ago in fact, retakes the lead of the race, but he's gonna have company soon enough.
Indeed, and Derp has to brake on the straight. I'm guessing he was pushing hard to get ahead of Andre, but Delta might have caught him out there, and looks like he's just safe for now. Andre was definitely caught out a bit there. Horning gets a 5-second penalty for spinning into the pit lane, and well, 10 laps to go. This might just give the chance for everyone to bunch up once again and go for some more positions at the end.
Envy's hoping what happened in lap 1 happens to him again. He finds himself in P4 again, his starting position, and he finds himself behind 3 cars that this time around though on the same set, if anything, in terms of tires, considering Derp is still, just 2 lap old mediums, not too much of a difference, or perhaps Derp probably can take an early start and pull off a gap to Andre, who's got less heat in his tires. Indeed. What do you think, Davin? I think Envy got the short end of the stick in comparison this time around.
Yeah, I think with that compromise start, starting on the softs wasn't that bad if you look back at it now. Hindsight's always 2020, like they say. So if anything, Envy might have just benefited from starting on the softs and then going onto the hard tires and attacking since then. And now with the safety car coming out, going onto the mediums till the end. Andre's 3-second, Derps on a low downforce, which might compromise his tires at the end, and all the tires. Gauts will prove to be a bit of a opponent to overtake, especially in the first 2 laps without DRS. And now that you have fresh tires, you don't have to conserve anymore. I wonder if that P3 is even going to be his, if someone else is going to pick up penalty in front of him.
Yeah, and I think we haven't talked about Guts enough. He's in a position he doesn't find himself every day, which is running in the top 3 in Bwoah Racing League. It's lap number 19. We got 10 laps left. What can he do in a level playing field along the likes of Andre, Envy, and Derp up in front? Dishy with the soft tires.
That is interesting. As I was going to bring up the tire slots there. Yes, soft tires to go till the end. I wonder if that's a good choice, even unless he's expecting some more chaos down the road. But he will be the fastest man out on track on the restart for the first 2 laps at least, and then from there on he just has to hang on for dear life for the rest of the race. Excuse me as I get my words wrong.
Good, but not so good for Signic, who's lost 2 front wings and finds himself on hard tires while the rest of the grid are on quicker tires than him. I wonder if he's having the greatest of times. He's probably not, and I think despite the advice and of course the tips you hand him out for free, Gavin. He's had a tough one out there. Hopefully he comes back, he bounces back next race. But this race, with the amount of laps left and in the position that he's in, it's not completely catastrophic. He does go home with a bunch of points, which will be valuable for the championship, but not in the position he'd like to be running. I mean, he started on the front row of this race.
Indeed, and yeah, I think if there was a choice to go on to second set of mediums, he would have taken that rather than the dreadful hards here. But well, we have to just live on with it because the softs are going to die off if they go on to it. At least the hards will make it till the end. And what's happening down there? Envy and Dishi are just going side by side. No, Dishi decides to pit once again from the soft tires. I wonder is that because he's going onto the mediums now. This is interesting. Why would he go back onto the medium tires if he started on those?
I think he's worried. He's worried if the lap, softs don't last till the end of the race. I think the longest we saw a driver on the softs in this race was 6 laps, and we didn't see anybody run longer. So I think he wants to have an advantage, but not really lose out at the end of the race.
Yeah, so this way he is safer. He will not be losing more positions than he wants to, but at least gives him a fighting opportunity. And yes, Prophecy in the chat is asking, are those the C5 tires? Yes, the soft tires in Australia are the C5s. And then we take a step up and then we go to C3 for the mediums and C2 for the hard tires. So there is a significant jump in performance between the mediums and softs, but the softs, they only last about 2 or 3 laps here.
So yeah, there's a Ferrari leading this race and a Ferrari in the back of the pack. We've seen this once before, not in IRL Formula 1 in fact, but in Bwoah Racing League, and I believe it was the same pair, Derp and Honing, if my memory serves me right, back in season 4. I don't remember which race, possibly Zandvoort, possibly maybe some other, but yeah, we got Derp up in the lead, right behind him Andre breathing down his neck. If you see a Williams in the mix, that's a lap car of Mr. Wex, who finds himself in a rather awkward position at the safety car restart. Is he supposed to be there, Dalvin?
No, he's not. I think if only the game allows you to unlap, he will be back of the grid with on the lead lap. But now he's gonna get blue flags, and he has to yield the position before he gets a penalty. Blue flags
for the blue car. I'm sorry I cut you off, but
it's okay,
I had to get that in before the restart.
There you go. Restart is underway. Derp pulls out immediately, tries to get the gap, and then there you go. Mr. Wax just pulling aside. Derp weaving aggressively to get some temperature into those cold medium tires right now. Into turn 1 and turn 2. Everyone seems to be just cleanly getting through this time around. Both the Haasers back on track. But yes,
but in the back of the pack, Kuberabi threatened for position, and down the inside goes Dishy. Up in a P6 he goes. Medium's working its magic despite being slower than the softs, arguably, but Dishy up in a P6. Now next up is Sickening Fresh for the taking. Back to the front, Davin, because Andre is closing in on the likes of Derp with Guts hot on his tail.
Yeah, and these first few laps are going to be crucial to make the pass with these fresh tires that Andre and Derp and Envy has. If they can get past Derp, they might just hold on to the position. But yeah, closing in very quickly, spending all the battery to make the overtake. Andre, though, with that high downforce, might be catching in the corners, but he's not quick enough on the straights.
Envy trying his best to close in on the top 3. Over a second gap to close in now, so not the best of times he's having early into the restart. But yeah, we got about 8 laps left. We're coming along the main straight. Derp leading the pack as he did at the end of the safety car. Andre to follow. Gouts holding firm that last podium position and deploying ERS early into the race restart. And Derp just storing, just building up on that ERS. And as I say that, he deploys it as well. And that gap for Envy just extends over a second.
Yeah, so not sure if the tires are not warming up quick enough for him, but he seems to be just within touching range, and that's a yellow at the back for a short while, and that is Mr. Wax, who has gone wide once again, and he's finally at the back of the queue, but on the wrong lap.
place, and now he's probably in place, arguably, in this race. 7 laps left, so maybe he can pick off a position or two. I know he can. He has it in him. We've seen him finish in the podium position once before. But let's switch back to that battle up in front.
Yeah, purple sector 2 for Derp with that straight line speed advantage that he might be having. But into sector 3, this is where Andre will come into his element. Look at how much he's closing in under the brakes. 2/10 the gap. Andre is hungry to get this position immediately.
On top of Dirk's gearbox at the end of sector 3. Around the final corner, peeks down the inside, getting a bit too anxious perhaps. 1/10 the gap. 2/10 now, and deploys ERS. Has DRS. Dub being calm and composed into turn 1. They go. Dub will still hold on to the race lead as Envy gets the fastest lap. Andre trying his best to make that pass on to Dub, but I think this just might play against him because Dub has everything he needs to hold on to that lead till the end of the race. I mean, look at the battery.
Yeah, and it's not too big of a difference. 40 of Andre versus Dub's 60, but yeah, it might come close in the end. And with Dub now starting to hold up Andre, it's making a 4-man DRS train. Look at that. Gouts and Envy now also join the fray. Gouts and Envy are going to fight it out themselves as well. Are they going to work together for a better position, or are they going to fight out back there for the P3 on track? But in the meantime, another attempt might just come from Andre. Let's see what's happening here.
DRS train keeps going. Oh, meanwhile, at the back of the pack, midfield, in fact, Sicknig has been passed by Dishy. So Dishy now up in a P5 and charging on. A late race charge by him. Back up in front. Andre is now 2/10 of Derp and keeps closing in at the end of sector 3, penultimate corner. And now the final one in lap number 23. Up in lap number 24. And Andre 2/10 of Derp. The race is on and continues. Envy 2/10 of Gout. Sector 3 lights up yellow. I wonder what's gone wrong there, but the 4-car DRS train up in front will continue. That's a spinning Gouts off the podium for now and permanently for this race as he tumbles down the order after a mishap into turn 2.
Yeah, down to P7. Both the Huspads getting past him as well. Dishy now will try to lead the charge to get back up on top. Envy has been disconnected from the DRS train. He will push hard to get back in contention for a race win, which is not too far off for him. Andre sticking ever so closely to Dub. 5 laps, 5.5 laps to go. This is not over yet, folks. Just not over yet.
Clear into this race. It's going to be a proper fight between Derp and Andre, and on lap number 24 with about 5 laps or so left, it clearly is turning out to be Andre versus Derp, and Envy cautiously waiting in the backdrop on the gearbox of Derp. He's been Andre for about 3 or 4 laps now, and he's going to stay there biding his time, similar to what happened earlier on, waiting for a mishap or two for Derp. A mistake, perhaps, on Dub's front into the tail end of this race.
Yeah, and finally it has formed the 3-man DRS train. Envy has joined the fight for the race lead over here. Can he force a mistake from the front too? That's always a trouble when you have 3-man DRS trains. And oh, look at that. Andre trying to go around the outside. Dub covers the inside into turn 3. Still keeps the lead. Envy almost getting a bite of the action there. Oof.
I think Dub played that, well, rather cheekily, but plays into his favor. Envy now within 3/10, so it's a proper fight, a 3-way fight for the lead now.
Yeah, and with depleting battery levels for Andre, with 3-second penalty as well, he is in a losing battle. Unless one of these two, Derp or Envy, picks up a 3-second, we might just be seeing this fight go on for another lap or two.
And meanwhile in the midfield, it's Sicknig trying his best
Sorry,
to be within
this time around I think Andre is definitely going to go for the move, but oh no. He was going to go around the outside once again. Dub cautiously covered the middle of the track and Envy had nowhere to go. There was almost a 3-man collision there.
Don't think his parents taught him how to open the door, did they? I don't think so.
Indeed, look at this door on the exit of the last one. Oh, Envy spins! But no, while he's spinning around, Andre is still on the attack to get the position away. Dishy now finds himself up into P3.
That late charge playing into his favor, and that battle continues. The Envy versus Sicknick this time around. Sicknick trying his best to capitalize on that mishap for Envy, but fails to do so. Will settle for P5 for now. Envy now running P4. First it was Gouts, now it's Envy. Seems like that P3 position's not kind to anybody holding it, but right now it's Dishy, and he's holding it for him.
Yeah, and Dishy is only half a second ahead of Envy, so this is still a battle to witness. And looks like it's a battle all the way down to P7 and P8 Gouts. And Mr. Wax as well are in the trade up in front. Let's quickly turn our attention to Andre, who might just go for another overtake attempt on Derp into turn 11. Can he make it this time around? But no, not enough straight line speed. Derp just covers the middle of the track.
Yeah, lap number 26. This was probably
this is
his
aggressive shot. Weaving by Envy addition to defend the positions. Oh my goodness.
Wow. What beautiful racing we're seeing out on track today in the Bwoah Racing League Season 6. Australian GP on the main stage. Andre is going to stay in that position and probably not attempt for that race lead early.
And that's Kumarabi spinning out of the last corner, so he's out of the race for P3. Up in front though, Andre now this time, can he go for the move around the outside or on the inside into turn 3? Derp once again covers the middle of the track, plays it very smart.
In his attempt to bide time and hope for a possible mistake from Derp, it's played against him with that penalty as well. He's probably going to finish second as it stands if Dishy doesn't close in the next couple laps, which seems very unlikely because Dishy's got his hands full with the likes of Envy breathing down his gearbox.
Yeah, and Sicknick as well, who has had a horrible race so far, looks at the prospect of a P3 at the end of this race. Again, up in front one more time. Let's turn our attention to the battle for the race lead. That is Andre going on an attack against Derp. Looks like time is running out for both of these to make an attempt.
Envy on Dishy weaves to the left-hand side. They're going to be alongside heading into Sector 3. And yes, they are late breaking into the corner. Dishy overshoots it. Envy perfectly placed that car, positioned that car for picking off that position, and up in a P3 he is back in the podium. Running and contact. What was that?
What was that? Indeed, that brings Gouts back into the hunt for P3. Dishy taps Sicknick, who in turn taps Envy, and that has led to a three-way collision.
Not like that.
Gouts tries to go for a move around the outside of turn 1, gets a cutback, gets the DRS, power down onto the straight. Both of them having DRS. Who's gonna be the last of the late breakers? Looks like it's gonna be Gouts, but no, Dishy sends it down the inside to keep his P3 alive. Side by side into turn 4. Who yields? Gouts yields for now.
As Rare kicks out, and he's gonna have to settle for P4. That gap's gonna end up being a second over second.
What's happening up in front? No, Sartek looks like Derp has made the move on Andre. Andre had made the move on Derp on the pit straight, but now they're fighting into turn 9 and 10. Andre defending for his life here. Derp, can he re-overtake into turn 11 here? Looks like he's going on the outside. He tries to outbrake. Andre covers the outside just in time.
They are to fight it, but clearly track position means so much more to him. 3-second time penalty for Andre is possibly going to put him down into P2. Surely going to put him down into P2 if he can't pull off a gap in a single lap. 3 seconds, that'll be a Spartan level task for him. But on the final lap, Andre leads this race ahead of Derp, who's just over half a second off him. And what a race this ended up being, Dalvin. On lap number 29, Derp still the one poised for the race win.
Indeed, and that 3-second penalty for Andre has come to bite him, and another 3-second penalty for Dishy is gonna come biting for him, which invites Gouts to take the P3 away.
I hope Gouts is seeing this, because he usually will not really put in the effort to fight for track position. If that is the case, if there's a penalty in play and he's already sealed for a podium, he's going to take it slow, ensure he can finish the lap rather than fight for track position. And I think you see him do just that. He's easing up a bit. That gap is going into over half a second now, and he's possibly going to be happy with a non-track P4 and a final P3 finish.
Yeah, but as we end to enter the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3. Andre will be winning the race, looks like it. Out on track though, but with that 3-second penalty, can Dub keep in touch? A 1.5 second behind. Andre will come across the line to take the checkered flag, but he will unfortunately fall down to P2. Dub takes the victory today. What a job.
What a race, man. What a race. Honestly, no one could have made this up. Dishy out of nowhere in that last 10 laps. He just woke up. He decided to wake up, but ended in vain considering the last lap he picked up that 3 seconds. So it counts to be clean, folks. If this race hasn't taught you, then I don't know what will. But Gouts, brilliantly done. Had an early mishap, lost that podium position, came back to keep that car in the top 4 and finish on the podium alongside Dup, alongside Andre. I think the one with the worst possible outcome, apart from the likes of Horning, is definitely Envy. I mean, think about it, right? Driver of the day, rightfully so. Dishy, no one's going to take away that from him, surely enough. But Envy, what happened in that final corner? I mean, think about it. It almost seemed like those two cars teamed up on him. Or
indeed, I think if I remember correctly, Sarthak, it was Dishy who was trying to stay away from Envy's diffuser and ends up tapping Envy, and that sent him a bit wide, and Signic found the opportunity down the inside of the second last corner, and that's where it all kicked off. So we'll definitely have to look back in the replays to get an exact shot, an exact view of what happened from all the street drivers. Pretty sure the stewards will be busy with those incidents. The lap 1, turn 1 incidents as well. That's a lot of things to review. But wow, actions on track. I'd say I think we had a good second race.
Yeah, despite having only 10 cars out on track, I expect more incidents being reported. And something we didn't expect though is all that action out on track. What a race, Dalvin. What a race it's been.
Indeed, what an evening to be enjoying the comms with you and the amazing folks in the chat. For those of you who joined, thank you for tuning in today as well. And we will be seeing you next week. And what race is gonna be? I forgot.
It's Chinese GP.
Chinese GP as we head just slightly to the northwest, is it? To the Chinese region, to the top part of Asia for the amazing Chinese GP. A new track that has been added back into the game. Let's see how drivers fare up against that.
I believe northwest for you, Dalvin, but for the rest of the globe, it's still east, considering we are east.
Well, well, I might have gotten my geography wrong, so let's not talk about that yet.
We need to jump into a game of GeoGuessr.
Indeed.
Solve that.
Indeed. A bit of a GeoGuessr with F1 tracks might be something that we really need. But folks, yes, what a day it has been, what an evening it has been. Sarthak, it was a pleasure to commentate alongside you. And
as always,
praises for your mic as well, Sarthak, coming in the chat. Your mic sounds crispy, as Daniel said in the chat. So, and there's a clock as well to signify the end of the stream. So that's it, folks. Take care. Bye bye.
Cheers, folks.